Hi, welcome back to the Infinite Lifetime Sutra. I'm your host Angelina Amitabha. Okay, today we're going to continue with the episode 4. So the past episode, the past Dhammata, we have already explained. We introduced Amitabha Buddha before he became a Buddha. Okay, he at that time he was with this he was the king of a particular kingdom that is really exceptional, and he decided to become a monk. And and above him he has a Buddha who was already teaching the Dharma for the eight kalpas. So yeah, so this part, okay, this part, the following part is when he saw his Buddha at that time, okay, the Buddha who was uh, doing the Dharma teachings at his time, his verbalization to address the Buddha, okay, of his time. The praises, when you actually encounter somebody and you are an intellectual, sometimes you see it in literatures as well. You see descriptions of, wow, this person is like that. In praise of this person, he describes this person. So just like that as well, the Bodhisattva at that time, or Amitabha, when he was still a Bodhisattva, he made his praise, okay, it is a genuine praise, because his the praise that we so call as praise is actually a description of the Buddha, okay. And this description of the Buddha is actually a description of all the Buddhas, because all Buddhas are equal, right? So when you describe one, you describe all the others as well. And so we are going to see how were the descriptions, okay. So 往诣佛说顶礼长跪，向佛合掌，即以切托赞佛，发广大愿，颂曰 Okay, so when he went forward, okay, the his Buddha at that time was there, and he went forward, his hands together as a respect, and then he made the the how to say the poetic praise of the Buddha. Okay, so 颂乐 when you see this word 颂乐 is actually just how classical Chinese they say said. Okay, it is said. All right, we will read the entire praise, okay, and then we will go in one by one, because this is actually describing our Buddhas. Okay, all the Buddhas, they all share the same kind of characteristics. They all share the same kind of glory, and it is noteworthy for us. All right. We start from this one. Okay, I read from this one. It's easier. Okay, because I have two books here. One is with the explanations but without the pinyin, and this one is the sutra with the pinyin itself. Okay, okay. 如来微妙色端严，一切世间无有等，光明无量照十方，日月火珠皆逆耀，是真能言一音声，有情个个随类解，又能现一妙色身，普世众生随类见。愿我得佛清净身，法音普及无边界，宣扬戒定精进门，通达深深微妙法，智慧广大深如海，内心清净觉尘劳，超过无边恶趣门，速到菩提究竟岸，无明贪嗔戒永无，化尽国五三昧力，亦如过去无量佛，唯彼全身大导师，能救一切诸世间，生老病死众苦恼，常行布施及戒忍，精进定慧六波罗，为度有情令得度， 以度智者，实成佛。假令供养恒沙身，不如坚勇求正觉。愿当安住三摩地，恒方光明照一切。感得广大清净具，殊胜庄严无等伦。轮回出去，众生类。殊胜我刹受安乐，常运慈心拔有情。度尽无边苦众生，我行决定坚固力。唯佛生智能正知，纵使生子诸苦中，如是愿心永不退。Okay, so this one, the first part of it, explaining about the descriptions about the Lord Buddha. Okay, and then up to the last part of it, he is expressing himself. Okay, our Bodhisattva at that time, our Amitabha, when he was a Bodhisattva at that time, he was expressing himself. He expressed his desire, okay, his request to the Buddha to share the teachings with him. Okay, so why did he have to share the teachings with our Amitabha Buddha? So that our Amitabha will actually be able to learn. Okay, and then to be able to, because all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they only have one wish, that is to enlighten all beings. So it is his compassion, okay, his kindness, that he requests the Buddha to share the teachings so that he can be able to understand fully, become enlightened, and to be able to help others. Okay, so we look at how it is. Okay, when we're talking about the first part, okay, the first part, 4 parts. Okay, 如来微妙色断言，一切世间无有等，光明无量照十方，日月火柱戒密要。Okay, when we're talking about this, we're talking about the physical stature of our Buddhas. Okay, it is that they have their physical appearance is of such glorious, it is solemn, it is glorious, it's elegant, and words cannot truly describe how it is. It is like there is no other that can be compared. Okay, if you are to look at all the celebrities today, you can also have magazines declaring who are the top 10 most handsome actors, actresses, singers, celebrities, and they cannot come to how do you say a unanimous agreement. Okay, it's like, for example, some people think that this person is handsome, others think that no, this one's not handsome enough, the other one is more handsome. But when you look at the Buddha, the all perfect one, the enlightened one, okay, the physical appearance, usually when we see like such the physical appearance of the Buddha has that kind of description, like the height will be of certain, and then the eyes will be like that, the nose will be like that, the tongue will be like this, the mouth will be like this, the physical, the length of the hands is like this, etc. Okay, it is just a description, okay, of how perfect this person is. Okay, the physical of it, and the perfection of this physical is actually due to the accumulated past karma brought on forward by his enlightenment. Okay, what the manifestation, in fact, if you were to look at those, like the face readers and everything, right, the fortune tellers, they can tell you that if you have a certain look, all right, then they can approximately know what is your temperament. If you have a certain description, like for example, some people have high nose, some people have a stub nose, some people the mouth is the lips are very thin, some people the lips are very thick, the ears are very short, or is very thick, you know, uh, all the different physical appearances are due to karma itself. And the perfection of our Buddhas, all right, the karma is, if there is even a karma left anymore, it is a perfection. So their physical appearance reflects that perfection. It's just like us, okay? We are reflecting our imperfections, okay, whatever that's lacking of us, right? For example, when I was younger, you see my eyes, they are big, and sometimes they are rather fierce if I were to become angry, right? So that is a characteristics from the past. So it has something to do with my past karma, and I brought into my current life and things like this. So it is all just a reflection of how it is. So when you see some people, it's very easy to see some people, the older they get, the more pleasant they look, right? Don't talk about plastic surgeries. We omit that part about plastic surgeries, okay? But the older they are, right, the more pleasant they look. And there are also those that, if let's say in the younger years they have done horrible things, and they are still horrible with their temper and their kind of um, the negative traits. So you will see that their face too will change accordingly, right? So the physical part of it is actually a reflection of how our Buddha's perfection is. Okay, so there is nobody that can be compared. So the all these Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, when you look at all the pictures and whatever not, right, they like to draw that round light thing. Okay, so that is actually a representation of the aura. Okay, the bright light. In fact, our own body itself is actually always emitting some lights, but we don't see it ourselves. So when we are doing good things, okay, you can feel a person, okay, who is righteous, okay, who is of courage, who is righteous, who is somebody who doesn't like all those hanky panky. So we say that we can feel this person's vibration. It is strong, and it is steady, and it is a powerful vibration. But at the same time, while some of us are more sensitive towards all these kind of vibrations, there are also those who are more sensitive, who are able to see the light from the body. Okay, you look at the person's physical itself, all right, even if without all the cosmetics and everything, the person's face may seem to be glowing. Okay, again, omit all that cosmetics. Okay, omit all that facial sessions and whatever. This person can be just naturally glowy. Okay, so that glow of our Buddhas, okay, if they were to show us, make the glow visible to us, okay, our planet itself, okay, will not be subject to the day and the night. Okay, the light itself can illuminate the entire universe. Okay, always daylight. So that's why in Amitabha's Pure Land, okay, which you will learn later on, Amitabha's Pure Land, there is no day and night. Okay, it is always just that day. Okay, the glorious day. Because of the light that's being illuminated, there is no night, right? So it is 在佛光之中都 so if all this light as well, okay, they can emit not just white lights, okay, they can emit lights of different hues as well, all sorts of colors, really beautiful. Okay, 然后这灯光在太阳光下一样 right? So the brightness is actually there. And then after that, the next 4 lines. 是真能演一营生，有情各个水类解，又能现意妙色身。 普世众生随类见. Okay, so our Lord Buddha's manifestation, okay, 是着能以一种音声言妙法，每一类众生听起来都像是佛在说自己的语言，而且都能明白理解佛所说的道理。同时佛又能显示微妙的身相，一切众生见了都认为佛是自己的同类身相，而是自己最欢喜的身相。上两段是赞叹佛光明者身相，下面7首是法藏比丘所发的大愿。Okay, so this next four that I was explaining just now, the Buddha's capabilities. Okay, the Buddha is the greatest communicator in the entire universe. Okay, when the Buddha, if let's say the Buddha sees us as humans, so the manifestation is for us humans to understand what he is saying. Okay, we don't need to learn another language, right? We don't need to upskill ourselves to reach his level. All right, and in fact, if let's say maybe you are English speaking, you are Chinese speaking, you are Indian speaking, you are French speaking, Russian speaking, Japanese, Korean, whatever. Okay, if the Buddha wants to teach you a Dharma, the Buddha will manifest himself into a form that you can accept, a form that you will like, and to speak your language. Okay, being great communicators, you don't force other people to go to your level of understanding, right? You don't force the narrative onto them based on your level. When you're a communicator, you go down to other people's level so that they are able to receive the message that you're trying to convey, right? So the Buddha is a great communicator. So when you see the Buddha is able to speak to you in the language and in the level that you are able to understand. Okay, there are also times when, if let's say the whatever being, right, is not human, for example, but the being is, they need not always be manifesting as humans. Okay, they may actually manifest as animals, right? For example, sometimes you may see that, at a certain temple you see this cat or a dog that's being so obedient, or even a bird that's so obedient. They see the Buddha statue, they pay obeisance to the Buddha statue. Those are all probably, some people will say that it's the reincarnation of a monk in a previous life, and then because of some ignorance they get reborn as animals, and then they come back, they feel regretful, and so they stay in the temple and they take the opportunity to repent and to seek refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Okay, so that is one way of seeing. But we have also seen in the Partapali sutras, there's the peacock's blessings. Okay, at that time the Buddha also manifested in the appearance of a peacock. So there can be all forms of manifestations, even though we may not know it ourselves. Okay, those, the way that they are working, okay, they don't, it's not like what we have today, right? Today, in our world today, everyone is talking about visibility in terms of, even if you don't really work, you actually just make it seem as if you're working, make it popular as if you're working. Everybody is just looking so superficially instead of deep diving into what you're really doing. So a lot of times you will see there's a lot of marketing, a lot of branding, and then after that, the actual work that's being done is, when you go into it, hey, it's not like that at all. It is not as what they have marketed outside, right? So for the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, it is the other way around. Okay, they want to do things, but they do it secretly without any publicity. They keep really quiet about it unless it benefits other people. Okay, unless it is meant to make people wake up to a certain reality. It breaks some of the ignorance, okay, bring their awareness to it. So that's why they will reveal the good deed. But Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, being who they are, they will not reveal their identity. They probably conceal their identity and just be like us, common human beings with our families and everything and whatnot. And some of them actually, after they have, they'll just opt the life of becoming a monk. They'll just stay at the temple somewhere in the forest or the hills, away from all the pollutions of the city dwellers. So that's what they will do. Okay, but every time they converse with you, they communicate with you, it will be to your understanding. So in, like, for example, this kind of huge Dharma talk, there are tens of thousands of people, beings, okay, the humans and the non-humans, the deities, the other bodhisattvas from other Buddha worlds, okay, they come over to listen to it. But each one of them, okay, they, when they hear the Buddha speak, it will seem like the Buddha is talking to them one on one. Okay, they can resonate with it. It feels as if it's an interpersonal communication instead of a mass communication. All right, so this is how great the Buddha is, right? So, and then after this few lines, the next few lines, okay, the next few lines, it is actually our Amitabha Buddha, at that time the Bodhisattva, was expressing his desire, okay? His desire of what? Of himself taking up the um, Bodhisattva vow and wanting to become a Buddha, okay? So, but he needs guidance. To become a Buddha, he needs that kind of guidance, and he wants his Buddha at that time to share it with him, okay, for the benefit of other people. Okay, so he says, 愿我得佛清净身，法音普及普遍界，宣扬戒定精进门，通达深深微妙法。Right, so he was 法藏比丘. Okay, Fazang was our Amitabha Buddha's name when he was a bhikkhu, when he was a monk. So he's hoping that he'll be able to be just like the Buddha, okay, with that clear voice. Okay, the clear voice, as in the voice itself is very clear. It is without any obstruction, so anybody listening to it can see that, oh wow, this is such a pleasant voice to hear. Okay, and then 让说法的声音能普遍宣扬到无边的法界. Okay, so the clarity of the voice is not only like, like right now when you're listening to when I'm talking, right, you can hear my voice. That is one form of clarity. But the clarity of the Buddha's voice can actually spread. Okay, his voice will actually penetrate the entire universe. Okay, so 无边法界, okay, all through all the Dharma worlds. Okay, so we know there are the 10 realms of existence, so his voice can actually penetrate all levels if he wants to. Okay, in fact, he probably is already doing that. It's just that we are too polluted to be able to listen to it. Okay, right now, even right now, okay, our Lord Gautama Buddha is after his parinibbana, it's not that he extinguished. Okay, his parinibbana means that his physical body is already no longer in use. in our world, but he would have manifested in other forms as another being, okay, based on the karmic needs of the being at that moment, okay, manifested and is already sharing the Dharma. Our Amitabha Buddha is in Pure Land right now, and he is also sharing the Dharma. Okay, Kashyapa Buddha is also in his Buddha world sharing his Dharma. Vairochana Buddha also in his world sharing his Dharma. The Medicine Buddha is also in his Dharma world sharing the teachings, sharing the Dharma. So all the Buddhas, they are all sharing the Dharma, but we don't hear it. Okay, that's because of the layers of pollution based on our worldly attachments. So our senses have been taught that if we don't hear it, then it is not there. But if our body, our mind is still, okay, extremely still, extremely clear, with focused concentration, okay, without any pollutive thoughts or whatever, the mind is so clear, the heart is so still, okay, we may be able to hear things, right, that is not within the logical explanation of the existing room. You'll be able to hear things, right? It's something like your radio wave. Okay, if you have a lot of different radio waves, of course your reception is to the nearest. But if you are silent, okay, so quiet, you might be able, if all waves are silent as well, all channels are quiet, you will be able to hear the faintest sound. Okay, it's like in the library, right? So this is something that we cannot achieve yet. We are not achieving it yet. Okay, but the Buddha's voice can actually penetrate the entire world. It's just that we are not able to receive it. Our antenna is not right. Okay, so this 宣扬善学六度大乘佛法，目的是让一切众生都能通达明了深广无尽的宇宙人生的真相。Okay, so the penetration of the voice of the Buddha, right, is not for him to hold a concert, of course. Okay, but it is for him to share the Dharma. What is the Dharma actually? The Dharma is the ultimate truth. Okay, Dharma is the universal truth that we are actually, when the Dharma speaks, when the Buddha speaks of the Dharma, he is not inventing something new. He is just telling us what the truth is. Okay, he is not an a gimmicky entrepreneur. Okay, he is actually just there telling you what is the truth, and it is due to our ignorance and our faulty education, faulty many lives of pollution, that there will be people who are afraid if they are presented with a universal truth. They'll be very afraid. So the Buddha will not force people to accept the truth when they are not ready, okay, but when your karma is ready, the Buddha will share the truth with you. And there are many people who gain enlightenment in different forms. Okay, the enlightenment may be by sight, it may be by hearing, okay, it may be by taste, it may be by smell, okay, it may be by touch, it may actually also be by thoughts, heart. Okay, so there are many different ways that people can get enlightened, and it is all about seeing the universal truth or hearing the universal truth and be able to truly comprehend. Okay, it's not just like a basic understanding of situations, it's actually you understand how it is. And the most basic thing that we can probably take example of is maybe the universal truth about death. Okay, everyone experiences death. Okay, so I was watching one of the interviews of Hong Kong stand-up comedian Dio Wang. Okay, Wang Jiwa. So he was interviewed after he has done that Poteo, that movie. Okay, was it Life After Death or something? Okay, so in the interview he says that he just asked one question. He said he just formed that question in his head recently: are there more people eating, or are there more dead people? Okay, so of course the answer is there are more dead people than people who are eating. Only the living can eat, but how many people have died in the past? How many people are dying at this moment as we are speaking? And we're not even talking about the calamities or the natural disasters or anything. We're talking about natural death. We're talking about just death itself, right? So death is supposed to be something that is so natural, but it is seen as something scary in a lot of societies, because people hold on to the false view that it is all about the being alive. It is after death that you can't um, there are so many things of the unknown that people get scared about it. They don't want to die, but you have no choice. When you have birth, you have death, right? When you have birth, you have disease, you have old age, you have death. And sometimes you don't even get to the old age part, you just die. But even that also, you can't say that they don't go into the old age part, because if a younger child, okay, experience the birth and then experience the disease, okay, probably the aging is of a different timing compared to a normal path of aging. But it doesn't mean that everyone is following a specific path. So the body ages due to the disease. And even if it was the body of an infant, the disease would have accelerated the works of the body cell, that it it experiences what people will call as prematurity. Okay, premature aging, premature death, that's what they call it scientifically, medically, because humans are actually labeling it based on our own understanding. Oh, the child is too young to die. But if based on that child individually, okay, as an individual, the body would have experienced that time, the disease, the age of time, okay, age according to the individual's time, and the body would have experienced the old age based on that individual's own time zone, and then the death. Okay, so all will experience it. It's just that we have measured it differently instead of individually. All right, so universal truth. There are a lot more about the universal truth, and one of the actual truth itself is that the entire being is due to our first ignorance. Okay, that first stupid question that came to our mind, that ignorance, if you were to look at Paticca Sutra, okay, that first ignorance is the thing that conjured the entire being, the whole universe. Okay, I'm mad about Big Bang and things like that. In fact, I was just browsing through my phone in the morning, and then science was now saying that the the black hole does not end or cause irreparable damage, but it is actually a renewal. It helps the renewal of some life forms or something like that. Okay, I didn't really look at the article in entirety because it's natural. Okay, what we see as the black hole is just like death itself. What they didn't know, okay? So black hole, a lot of for longest time, right? If anything gets sucked into the black hole, it's supposed to be dead. Is it dead? Actually, it is the unknown. Okay, when something is being sucked into the black hole, it's actually an unknown, because humans will not dare to go into the black hole, right? You don't know what is inside there. You don't know what's on the other side. And then now they say that, oh, actually it is fueling the renewal of it. So it's just like your reincarnation, right? So there is no start and no end, or no ultimate end to it, unless all beings have already returned to become a Buddha. Okay, become that ethereal light, that eternal light, the energy source, that 长寂光, okay, that very ultimate light. So until then, don't expect anything to be silent. Don't expect anything to be permanent. Okay, and then, yeah. So he aspires that the Buddha to have that kind of voice, just like all the Buddhas, okay, to be able to penetrate to all the worlds to teach the Dharma. And then there was this part about okay, 智慧广大深如海，内心清净觉尘劳，超过无边恶趣门，速到菩提究竟岸，无明贪嗔界永无，或尽过无上魅力。Okay, this part, 法藏比丘 okay, 法愿 our Amitabha Bodhisattva at the time made the wish, made the vow that 要具足像佛一样广大无边的智慧。He wants to have the same limitless, boundless wisdom like the Buddhas. Okay, 内心清净 his internal thought, his heart of pure clarity, okay, calmness, and then 断绝一切烦恼, okay, eliminating all worries. Today we're always worried because we don't understand. That's why we're always worried. I was worried about my job. I was worried about my family. I was worried about this. I was worried about that. And today's humans are always worried about whether there's enough money to use, okay, whether there's, even if they have enough money for use now, okay, well, they're still young, they will think about, do I have enough money for retirement? Okay, so there's a lot of worries. When you are poor, you worry about food. When you are rich, you worry about burglars. Okay, so there's a lot of worries, and worries, worry is the thing that makes white hair come out. Okay, so if you don't want white hair, then you don't have any worries, right? So he wants to have that vast wisdom of the Buddhas, and he wants to eliminate all worries. He wants to be enlightened. Okay, 超越究竟法，九法界，超越九法界 that means to go beyond the nine Dharma worlds. 就圆满究竟无上的佛果。He wants to attain Buddhahood. Okay. 永断无明贪嗔，从此再不迷惑。Okay, when you're talking about enlightenment, that means you want to get rid of the greed. You won't have any more greed or ignorance, the anger, the hatred. Okay, you don't 再不起造一切过失的行为 you will not be doing anything that will cause negative karmas arising. 这都是修学念佛三昧的效的收果。Okay, so when they have taken the vow of Bodhisattva, okay, all the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, when they take up the vow of the Bodhisattva, it is actually for them to go into the path. They want to have that kind of ultimate wisdom that the Buddhas have, to become enlightened, to attain Buddhahood, and to be able to eliminate all the factors that will cause the potential of negative karmas arising. Okay, in fact, whatever they do is 净业. Okay, it is clean. There is no positive or negative. It is just clean. Okay, neutral, clean. Okay, he wants to achieve that. I also want to achieve that. Okay, because being human is actually very troublesome, right? And then 一入过去无量佛为是大导师。Because I have the fan on, so that's why the pages are flipping. So, 一如过去无量佛为比群生大导师 so he wants to be just like the past Buddhas to become the great teacher for everyone. Okay, 能救一切诸世间 want to save all the beings in the different worlds. Okay, 生老病死众苦恼 just now I've already said the birth, the aging, the disease, and the death. All these are actually preventable disasters when we achieve Buddhahood. Okay, in fact, it is the birth and the death is within the cycle, which is actually an illusion. Okay, so when you achieve Buddhahood, the illusion is gone. The birth is an illusion. Okay, in reality, there's no birth. The aging is also an illusion because time and space is an illusion. In reality, there is no aging. The disease, they are also illusions. Okay, the illusions that are also does not exist, and death itself is also an illusion. There is no death. If there is no birth, there is no death. When there is no death, there's also no birth. So in between, all the aging and also the diseases will also not be there. But how do you understand this, right? A lot of people, they cannot understand this because they will tell you that it is the reality, you have to believe it, you have to accept that. I can accept that it may be a reality when we are still mere mortals, okay? But in the ultimate reality, all these things actually don't exist. Okay, all these things, the entire thing in the Paticcasamuppada Sutra, just now I've already said, all these things happen because of the first ignorance. And when there is an ignorance, that is when everything is conjured and everything manifested. And since it is due to ignorance, the things that manifest are actually all based on imagination. Okay, and we have put a meaning to this imagination. We have put meanings to it. We instill fear in our mind to it because we think that some people think that you accept reality and that is like so mature. But I can tell you the reality is not like that. Are you able to accept it? No, you're talking nonsense, right? So they are also not really that mature if you were to talk in the ultimate sense. When you're talking about the maturity where it comes in regards with the ultimate truth of the universe, none of this entire thing right now, you're looking at me right now, you yourself in your room or wherever you are, okay, the entire thing is untrue, the entire thing is unreal, the entire thing is actually a conjure of your imagination, the ripening of your karma, which is also due to all these imaginations, okay, these illusions that have been created. And that's why there is the cause, there is the effect. Okay, if you were to look at the ultimate things of it, time and space are unreal. Okay, we are in truth just that energy source, 强气光. Okay, we're just that one dot of light. That dot, I didn't say it's big or small, but that dot is of immersive energy, immersive power, and it can be as strong as penetrating all universes, or you can actually dim it so much that it is only like the butt of a firefly. Okay, so it can grow big, it can grow small, it can change. Okay, it is all just because of our ignorance, and our ignorance created this situational world where there is the 6 realms of existence, there's the 10 realms of existence, and then once we get out of it, then we are in the Pure Land, we're in the Buddha world, which actually is also a manifestation. It is just based on our familiarity. Okay, we are used to having an able to stay. We are used to this. We are used to that. So Amitabha created his Pure Land based on what we are used to. Okay, so that we don't feel foreign when we are there. We will feel at home when we are there. So all these things are, it comes to only one conclusion, right? We are all being too serious in this world, right? Some people, like you see now, if you were to scroll on LinkedIn, everyone is talking about the micromanaging being the toxic work environment, the bad bosses versus a leader, and things like this. All these are also due to that very pollution that is in our mind, is all based on the created tendencies that occurs over the years of education, over the years of so many corruptions, from the greed, anger, and the hatred. 贪嗔痴, the ignorance. Okay, the greed, the hatred, and the ignorance. All these things created that sense of longing, the sense of ownership. Okay, that it creates more greed, it creates more chaos in our world itself. Okay, so all this the moment when you sit down and you have the clarity of it, you will find that what's this sort of nonsense, it's just not worth any kind of aggravation at all, because it's all fake. Okay, so our Lord Gautama Buddha, our Amitabha Buddha, our Medicine Buddha, Kashyapa Buddha, Vairocana Buddha, every single Buddha, all the Buddhas out there, they all have the same mission vision. Okay, their ultimate mission is to share the Dharma with us so that we wake up to reality, to the ultimate reality, not to the reality of this mundane world, to the ultimate reality. Okay, so he wants to be able to do that, to deliver people from all beings. Okay, when I say people, I shouldn't be using the word all people, I should say all beings. Deliver all beings from the suffering that we have induced upon ourselves with the ignorance, with various ignorance that brought us to our being. So 常行布施机戒人，精进定慧六波罗，唯独有情令得度，一度之者始成佛。假令供养恒下生，不如坚勇求正觉，愿当安住三摩地，恒放光明照一切。Okay, so all this following, okay, our Amitabha Buddha as a Bodhisattva, he has made vows, the Bodhisattva vows, 要常常不间断的修学菩萨布施. So he is always very mindful, and he is cultivating the Bodhisattvas, paramitas. Okay, and then he wants to be able to help all beings to get out from this illusion that we are living in. Okay, 他们了脱生死. Okay, so that there won't be any more birth and there won't be any more death. It's all about the suffering, and the suffering is actually due to our own stupidity. Okay, our own delusions. Okay, so all these things being said, okay, 不是 when you're talking about the six paramitas, well, it is about the the giving, charity. Okay, 戒 is the discipline of it, the precepts. Okay, 受持忍 all these things. Okay, what is the aim of doing all these practices? All these practices is actually there because over the years, over the many aeons of existence, we have been accustomed to the wrong things. Okay, being accustomed to the wrong things, we hold a lot of baggage behind us, and all the discipline that is being taught are actually to help us remove the baggages. Okay, layers and layers and layers. And so, there's a lot of things that we should not be doing, things that actually harm others that we shouldn't be doing, because all these bad things that we're doing, in fact, the only right thing to do is in the inaction. You just let karma unfold and let karma just do whatever it wants to. And then once that karma candle burns out, then it is eliminated. You don't even need to react to it. Will you react to a light that's burning a candle? You don't react to it, right? You just, if you light a candle and then you just let the light burn the candle, okay? You don't need to fuel it because it's already the candle. So karmic energy is just like your candle. Okay, so when it starts to activate, okay, the karmic energy manifests into events. If you become a third party observer of the events, it will eventually burn out its fuel, okay, if you don't react to it. So rather than spending all this time, okay, and all the energy, like giving everything, doing charity and whatnot, cultivating and things like this, why not you just straight away aspire to become a Buddha? Get that right kind of enlightenment, get that right kind of understanding, that wisdom. Okay, Renta Anju Samoti. Okay, so all these things at the backside of it. Okay, he wants to be able to um for 法藏比丘愿自己常常安住在圣摩地中，远方光明。So our Amitabha Buddha, he has this aspiration. Okay, he wants so much to help other beings that he wants to be constantly in that light, in that situation where he is always uplifting the beings around him, the ready ones who are able to accept and benefit and then be elevated into Buddhahood, into enlightenment. Okay, so that is his aspiration. So since he has his aspirations, I'm not going to go into too much in depth of this thing, because eventually we're going into the 48 vows of Amitabha Buddha. Okay, so he is asking the Buddha to show him the way. Okay, show him in a way that he can understand in depth of the teachings, show him how to practice, show him how to attain the enlightenment. So when when you are genuinely interested in learning, the Buddha will never decline. And the Buddha, being a Buddha, right, he is not selfish in his teachings. He's not a human, right? Because he's the enlightened one. He's not a human, and he will not be stingy in his teachings. He will not scheme, he will not sabotage when you are trying to achieve the same level as he. Okay, so we shall continue the next episode with a new chapter later on. Okay, because this one is the Amitabha Buddha as a Bodhisattva. He approached, we have introduced, okay, the teacher and the student. The student at this point is still Amitabha Buddha. So the student has given praise to the teacher to please teach me to become like you. Okay, so we shall continue next episode. So meanwhile, please take good care. Okay, you'll notice that this episode does not have the introduction page like what we usually have, because my regular laptop is in the workshop. Okay, the motherboard has fused out, so I need to wait for the replacement of the motherboard, and it may take 2 weeks. So for these few episodes, there will not be the opening um what do you call that, the usual opening. So yeah, it will start directly with this video. Okay, but don't be alarmed. Okay, it will continue that way for a few episodes until I get my laptop back. Okay, so we'll meet again in the next episode. Bye bye. Amitabha.